I've seen majority of Kenyans asking this question, that why is Wandai still in office? And there is a scandal under his docket. And if the Standard even went ahead and asked, still in office, why? And then let me just read for you something here. 3 senior petroleum officials have been forced out of office over the importation of substandard fuel. But the question gripping Kenyans is how such a breach could occur without the knowledge or approval of the Cabinet Secretary, Opiyo Wandai, has considered there is a mess in his ministry, yet remains firmly in office as his juniors take the fall. President William Ruto has spoken forcefully on the scandal, but accountability cannot end with the cherry-picking fall guys. In any chain of command, responsibilities rises to the top, and in this case, the bank stopped squarely at the feet of CS Wandai. That is what I want us to talk about, fellow Kenyans. But before we do that, the Burundi community and family, we have an announcement, I think, and this is the announcement. There is this children's home. I visited it, had a conversation with the director, both the director and the assistant director. We really talked. I saw the children. There were 2 kids who are abandoned by the mother after birth. I think 2 days. So the children are barely 10 days old. And others are also there. There are around 89 right now, and they told me that there are some in school. So wakirudi wote, the number will be around 100 plus. So we really talked, and they told me that if you can help us, if you guys can help us in 1, 2, 3 things, we'll be really glad to, and we'll really appreciate. Of course, we know very well that this is something that one person cannot do. Kukaa na watoto wote, hata useme uko na only one source of help, it's something that it's impossible. So after that, I had a brief, talk. Nilikaa na watoto, the few that nilipata, wengine nilipata kama wanalala. I just talked to the few, I interacted with the few of them, just kids here and there. And I said that I told them that I have a team which I know that will respond, and after they've responded, I'll get back to you with what they give me. So I just have to request you guys. You are 50 shillings, you are 100 shillings, you are 200 shillings, you are 300, 400, 500 shillings, you are 1,000. Any amount of money which you really feel like can help these kids. Please just use the M-Pesa number on your screen so that you can help these kids. Nobody knows, we cannot say that, I can't help a kid, si mtoto wangu. Hawezi kuwa mtoto wako, lakini we all know how maybe these things normally comes later. So just a humble request, please guys, if you can, just use the number on your screen. Just send your 50 bob, your 100 shillings, 200, 300 shillings, whatever you have. We'll make arrangements, and then tutaona what we can do. Kama tutawanunulia vyakula, kama itatosha mpaka manguo, we can do that. It's something that they requested that we do, because saa zingine though watoto walali njaa, but sometimes I talk to the director told me that sometimes they really struggle how they can get food for the kids. The kids needs to be happy and all that. Actually, the kids were very happy seeing me. They were saying, the director told me that wanapenda sana wakati mtu amekuja kuwaona mtu mwingine mgeni apart from wale wenye wamezoea, because they feel that they are really loved indeed. So please, that is the project that we have this month. I would request you that I'm humbly requesting you that let us do this for the sake of these kids. Wale wenye walikuwa wanasema kwamba pesa yangu siwezi peleka kanisani kwa tithe, eri nipeleke kwa children's home. Now we have a project. Please just come through and we see what we can do. Today marks the end of this. So please, if you are willing, today is the last day. We had talked to the director, and we planned that tomorrow is when I'm going. So today is the last day. If you're still waiting, we're still saying that Bunia don't want to be left behind. You can still use the number and send your 50 bob, your 100 shillings, your 200 shillings. Is really going to help in one way or the other. So today marks the end of our contribution. or our playing part in this. If you are willing, just do the needful. Probably before the end of today, or maybe before the end of tomorrow, or even tomorrow, because lazima nikienda pia lazima I'll give them some money, maybe to do one or two things. Kuna vitu zingine siwezi nikanunua, so that hizo watanunua wenyewe. Just give them the money and then they buy. The director was away, but she's going to be back by today in the evening, so kesho ndio tunaenda kutembelea watoto kama yuko around. Now, Opiyo Wandai have decided to sacrifice his juniors. Very interesting. And of course, the president is aware of that. And maybe he also knows what's going on in that place. But he can't do nothing. He can really do nothing. Opiyo Wandai knows the scandal of this fuel. There is a report that has been made by the NTV together with the Citizen. I want you to listen to this, and then after listening to it, sometimes whenever you see these guys making a lot of noise, I learned something. That when you see these people making a lot of noise, oh, hey, hi, oh, when you see them making a lot of noise, you just understand that there is something that they're trying to hide. And whatever they're hiding will automatically catch up with them. So here is the thing. Listen to this, and then after listening to it, you'll tell me what you think at the comment section. But please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to click the notification bell. Any moment there's a video that has been uploaded, it will be very easy for you also to get access to it. Can you listen to this?
Of authoritative news coverage to our top story tonight, where we sustain our coverage of the oil importation scandal that landed top energy sector bosses in hot soup. And it's now emerging that the Ministry of Energy was forced to invoke emergency powers and bypass the normal supply system of the government-to-government deal after the main nominated oil marketing company failed to deliver fuel for the country. Documents exclusively obtained by The Standard reveal how Gulf Energy Limited, a nominated oil marketing company entrusted with the critical fuel supply contract, failed to deliver, forcing the Ministry of Energy to bypass the normal supply chain. And as our senior political affairs reporter Chris Thyro details, senior government officials in the energy sector used the opportunity to undercut deals, hence raking in billions of shillings.
In the final days of March 2026, Kenya stood on the brink of a fuel crisis that would have shut down the economy as the country prepared for the Easter holidays, with demand for petrol surging by 20%. The national stocks were running dangerously low that the government, through the Ministry of Energy, projected a complete stockout by April 2nd this year. Behind the scenes, a frantic race was underway, with senior government officials cutting deals. Documents exclusively obtained by KTN reveal how Gulf Energy Limited, a nominated oil marketing company entrusted with the critical fuel supply contract, failed to deliver, forcing the Ministry of Energy, led by CS Opiyo Wandai, to invoke emergency powers and bypass the normal supply system. A National Security Council committee letter dated 9th March instructed the Ministry of Energy to explore and implement strategies to avert national energy crisis, even if it means going outside the G2G deal. Yes, the ministry moved to avert an immediate disaster by awarding emergency contracts to One Petroleum and Oryx Energies. However, documents in our possession raise serious questions about Gulf Energy performance, the lack of any subsequent investigation by the Opiyo Wandai-led ministry on how a company at the center of a near catastrophe remains in the loop for future business. Minutes from high-level meetings of the national supply chain chaired by officials from the Ministry of Energy, KPC, EPRA, and oil marketers showed growing concern. On March 18th, a key admission was made. The vessel had already loaded fuel in Jebel Ali, but escalating regional tensions blocked its route and it could not sail through the Strait of Hormuz. By March 19, the situation turned critical. Internal projections from Energy PS Liban warned Kenya had just 11 days of petrol to cover, and a stockout was now expected by March 30th. With no immediate response 2 days later, on March 19th, on March 21st, Gulf Energy finally responded with a letter to the principal secretary in it. They provided a detailed chronology of their failure. In their argument, they argued the delivery vessel for KG-05/2026 El Kaab arrived at the port of Jebel Ali on 28th of February 2026, ready for loading. Unfortunately, that was the same day on which the conflict in the Middle East escalated. A directive from the National Security Council changed everything. The ministry headed by CS Opiyo Wandai was authorized to bypass the standard government-to-government fuel system, and emergency action was now permitted. The first public hint that the government was preparing to bypass the national government-to-government G2G framework and find its own emergency supply. Fast forward to March 25, the ministry formalized the deals, and in a letter to One Petroleum Limited, PS Liban confirmed the delivery of the cargo. Copies of both letters were sent to Cabinet Secretary for Energy Opiyo Wandai, confirming his office was fully briefed on the emergency measures. Even as the emergency cargo were being confirmed, Gulf Energy was still scrambling. On March 21st, they submitted a proposal for the 37,000 metric ton cargo from Saudi Arabia. Worse, the ministry noted that this cargo quality was substandard. The ministry letter to Gulf Energy dated March 25th acknowledges receipt of Gulf's proposal, but states, and I quote, "We also note that the quality specifications is outside Kenyan standards. However, in the interest of security of supply of petroleum products, an exemption shall be processed." Despite these violations of the Kenya Bureau of Standards Code, the ministry, which is headed by CS Opiyo Wandai, granted the exemption, and the cargo was accepted under the existing KG-06/2026 allocations. The government, under direct orders from the National Security Council, was forced to declare an emergency and handpick competitors, One Petroleum and Oryx Energies, to save the country from an Easter fuel crisis. Oil marketers were invited to submit emergency fuel offers. Responses came quickly from One Petroleum, Oryx Energies, Has Petroleum, and E3 Energies. After technical evaluation, the ministry made its choice. It recommended that the offers by One Petroleum Limited, with delivery date range 23rd to 26th March, and Oryx Energies, with a delivery date range of March 10th, are considered. Copies of both letters were sent to Cabinet Secretary for Energy Opiyo Wandai, confirming his office was fully briefed on the emergency measures. Despite these violations of the Kenya Bureau of Standards Code, the ministry granted the exemption and the cargo was accepted under the existing KG-06/2026 allocations. Gulf Energy, a major player in Kenya's fuel import system, failed to secure the timely delivery of a contracted PMS cargo. The initial vessel was stuck. Their partial substitute left a shortfall, and their subsequent offers arrived late with inferior quality. The government, under direct orders from the National Security Council, was forced to declare an emergency and handpick competitors, One Petroleum and Oryx Energies, to save the country from an Easter fuel crisis. Copies of every critical letter from March 17th query to the March 25th acceptance of substandard fuel were sent to CS Opiyo Wandai. The political leadership knew the details of Gulf's failure, the emergency measures taken, and the quality waivers granted. The Ministry of Energy, led by Opiyo Wandai, having averted a crisis and has moved on to the next import plan for April-June 2026, where Gulf Energy is again listed as a major importer. A company that nearly caused a national fuel shortage faces no consequences. Question remains, why is Opiyo Wandai still in office, yet is the one responsible for the ministry? Why is Opiyo still free, yet persons who work directly under him are behind bars? The three former KPC MD, Joe Sang, former EPRA Director General Danny Kipto, Sacrificial Lambs. Chris Dairo, KTN, Nairobi.